What is going on, everybody? This your boy Sean, aka Puff Comics 19, and we are back after a week off. I had to take the week off because my father's birthday, my aunt's birthday coincided on the same weekend, so we celebrated that. And I had Tampa Bay Comic Con last weekend, so that was fun. As disappointing as the comic was, video is on my channel. Check it out if you can. But we are back after a week off. And I am glad to be joined by my co-host right here, Varangian Vigilante. It's been a while, man. How has your 2 weeks been?
Actually, it was really good that we took last week off. I was also visiting my parents. Then I had a lot of work to do. So finally, yesterday, I had the time to rewatch Corruptor, since I haven't seen that movie in like 20 years almost. It's crazy. It came out 1999. And you can always tell when something is old, when a DVD still has proper plastic that is hard.
Yeah, it's been a while since I watched Corruptor, but I remember always enjoying it.
It's so fun. I mean, it's so interesting to rewatch it because I absolutely love the plot. I have some issues with the camera work.
Yeah.
And I also think, because I was watching it, like, everything is so awesome. I absolutely love the cast. The cast is absolutely perfect. The plot is intelligent. It's a really there's so many plot twists in there that are really interesting. But it's like something is missing. Even though
John Woo.
Yeah, of course, John Woo. But another thing is also, with John Woo missing, you're also missing like a really good soundtrack. There's some good music in the background.
For me personally, it's a hip hop soundtrack. So there's a lot of songs on there that I love because I remember when they came out, and that Five Boroughs of Death song that played all the time, and I was like, man, that was an awesome posse cut, and it fit the theme of the movie because it's the Five Boroughs. It's New York City, and everybody was spitting bars about violence and stuff. So the soundtrack is more closer to me.
Yeah, because I was like, it was not memorable for me. It was like I'm missing because I really love when Chow Yun-fat's character was like humming like the folk tunes, the Chinese ones. That was really cool, but
it didn't have like something Chinese related.
Yeah,
really
I was like missing a little bit the Chinatown flair.
Yeah, I definitely understand that. They tried to go more with the hip hop element because hip hop was hot at the time. But I definitely see your point on missing the element of the Chinatown setting.
Yeah, but what I find most interesting is how really well fleshed out both sides of the gangs were. Of course, like the 2 Chinese gangs, and of course also the government gangs, like the FBI, internal affairs, and the police force. Like, it was really nice to see who worked against whom and who works together over the different structures.
And who do you trust?
Exactly, nobody.
Can't trust nobody. And to me, that was the theme of the film. Like the whole twist with Wallace's character. Like, you're kind of interested in, like, he is in this Asian culture, trying to fit in so he can get his badge and get higher ranking. But then you find out later on that he's actually something else, and it's like, oh shit. There's a whole lot of underhanded twists going on here, and that's what keeps you intrigued in the movie. On top of the non-stop action, which is needed. Like,
the action is fantastic.
When you have a movie like this with Chow Yun-fat in his first real big role after the Replacement Killers, you need some non-stop action.
Absolutely. The action is phenomenal. Like, the shootouts are great. The impact of weapons really nice. And of course, also they didn't tone down the nudity, which was very much needed there, because of course in this environment you're working with a lot of forced prostitution with refugees and everything. So that one was like it didn't hold back, and it really showed the uncomfortable parts.
And it also showed some of the racial tension going on.
Yeah.
You know, when Wallace is put into the Asian cop unit, and they like, why are you giving us a white cop and stuff? You know,
Yeah.
like why? I need Asians to deal with Asian gangs.
I love it. It's like there's two people like that the Chinese don't trust, which is a cop and a white man, and you giving me a white cop.
That's a good quote. I should have used that one.
Yeah. and especially it's like Mark Wahlberg.
And it's fun. It's interesting to see Mark Wahlberg early in his career before Mark Wahlberg, had the Mark Wahlberg characteristics that we know him throughout his movies.
Yeah,
he's like very tame here compared to what we know of in future movies. So it's always fun to look at him early in his career and see how he evolved.
He really does. He really does a great job in here. My favorite parts are actually the side plot whenever he's like interacting with his father.
Yeah.
Which of course is played by the great Brian Cox, which is so interesting because like how his father is portrayed like as like a really like a former cop that also was dirty and has problems with the Italian mafia, who is also like a game like he's he's addicted to gaming and gambling. And the thing is like always like how his father seems always very deplorable, and then when his dad found out for which part of the justice for the justice department his son is working, when he's when he was like disgusted by his son.
Well, again, it shows the two sides of how different they are because.
Hey Chase.
What up, Jace? He's enjoying Evo right now, the Evo fighting tournaments.
Ah, nice.
But it shows that his dad was on the dirty side of things.
Yeah.
And he don't like to see his son do something that, you're part of that part. Like, I have no respect for you. And it's like, well, shit, it's not like you've been around and doing good in my life growing up, so I'm trying to do something different from what you did.
Yeah.
I like the differences between the two.
Yeah.
Because there's always a little tension between them.
Yeah. I mean, Chow Yun-fat is one of my favorite actors, and his character, Nick Chen, is so fantastic. But there's one character that I think absolutely steals the show in this movie, which is Henry Lee, portrayed by Rick Young.
Yes.
Like, how he can, is especially how he can go from, this very friendly, like seeming person, and goes to absolutely being savage from one to the other second,
all while being charismatic.
This character is the perfect villain in this story. He's so good that even when he is a plot against Uncle Benny, that even the leader of the Tong mafia,
Bobby Boo.
That even you're feeling sympathies for him because they're doing him so dirty. I mean, he goes out like a boss.
I got to say the Uncle Benny scene is hilarious.
Yeah, like you're not man enough to kill me.
And then he get the slowest fall ever.
Yeah.
And then they're like, "Well, we're gonna kill you."
He did. Yeah, he deserved the slow fall because that was an absolute boss move.
Uncle Benny be Uncle Benny.
Yeah, it's like the eternal Uncle Benny.
Always, man. But I agree with you 100%. Rick Young portrayed Henry Lee so fantastic. But it's almost like he's that third character that you like.
Yeah.
That almost rises up and overshadows the main two leads because he's playing both sides of the fence. He's playing Chen of his loyalty to Uncle Benny and stuff, but also playing Wallace to say, we could use him on the inside, a white cop, and feed him information and lead to like dissension between the two.
Yeah, Ric Flair's not the only slick Rick in town, man.
Yes.
Yeah. Absolutely. But
Nice, you prick.
Yeah, but absolutely also love. He's so persuasive. When he tries to also bring Mark Wahlberg's character Danny on his side, and he is like having really strong arguments. And of course, then he's also using like his father, like to get him in his pocket by helping his father with all with the Italians. So I actually love, when he told him that, and which is absolutely true. And this is the best thing, when you lie to somebody to get your sword, but he also telling like the truth. And saying, gambling and whoring will still be there after both of us are dead. Which is the truth. So it's like we can work here together and make it better for everyone else. And then he also really got him on the emotional part, when he helped him with finding out who is like responsible for that hooker. Not that he cares about that, but he really tries to make himself look as this honorable gangster that actually only has the best in mind for Chinatown, and he's like he want to work together with the law and it's absolutely brilliant.
Yeah, that's the slickness of him. He's doing that as a way to upset Nick, because Nick was his right hand man, and now he's feeding this information to the white boy, and Nick is getting a bit perturbed by this. Like he sees the accolades that he got for that bus.
I mean, this situation, when he had this discussion with Nick, and Nick was a little bit more forceful to him, and he's just putting up this fake Rolex. He's like, this cost me $1 to produce, and some sucker will buy it off me for a few $1,000. It's never overestimate your value.
Plus, Nick still has that, not only loyal to Uncle Benny, but he has that hard edge about himself that Lee knows that he can't really penetrate him and get him to do things. He's loyal, but he's also going to question things. Whereas he could easily undermine Wallace.
Exactly, and that's also so interesting because the side character of Bobby Wu, who is the boss of the rivaling gang, working together with Henry Lee. He had the potential of being a villain in a movie, but is here a very good first henchman of Henry.
That's what I was saying. He was more of a henchman to me.
Yeah.
Lee was the main guy who was orchestrating a lot of things, even messing with the FBI to try and get their informant.
Yeah, but it was a very deluxe henchman.
Yeah, and I really love the dynamics of who do you trust in this whole situation,
Yeah,
and I love the intertwinings of the twists that all come through, especially when we find out what Wallace's true motivation for being there was, and how that changes everything from the FBI finding out to Nick finding out and all that stuff. So now it's what's going to happen? It just leads to more tension building up to that climactic battle at the end.
Absolutely, yeah.
It's, to me, that's what made the Corruptor so good. And I remember seeing people giving it mixed reviews and stuff like that. And yeah, the formula is similar to other films that done it, but I like how the Corruptor does it because it's more of who do you trust and how a lot of people have different agendas going into this.
Absolutely, yeah.
One man is an underling to Uncle Benny, but he wants to take over because he feels like Uncle Benny is old and passe and he's washed up. He wants to take over, and he's got the charisma and the flair to really put his foot down on anybody in Chinatown. Yeah, that's what makes him such a dangerous character. He's charismatic, he's persuasive, and he can do some damage. He can be savage if he wants to.
Hey, Perry. Yeah, and another great character, which actually he really is set up to be hated by everybody, is the FBI guy Schabecker, played by Paul Ben Victor. I was like, I know
Yeah.
that guy from somewhere. Like, oh yeah,
Yeah,
True
he's
Romance.
Yeah, True Romance. He's been in like a bunch of movies, and plus I remember him from Spiros and The Wire.
But he's in the. I still haven't finished the first season, but I've read he's in the second season of The Wire.
Yeah. Oh, Perry, you gotta check this.
You gotta watch this. It's really great. It's one of the few movies that were made in Hollywood and tackle with Chinese topics that really feel genuine. This really feels like a Hong Kong action movie, just being set in the US. So.
In Chinatown of all places.
Yeah.
We're gonna take it from Hong Kong to the US, but we're gonna keep it in the Chinese setting.
And Perry, if you like movies like these, you have to watch the John Woo movies from Hong Kong, like The Killer, for example.
Better Tomorrow. We talked about that.
Yeah.
We gotta get those videos back on active because
basically everything that has John Lee and Chow Yun-fat in it is like
Hard Boiled, man. Yeah, I love Hard Boiled.
King of Gamblers. It's not John Woo, but fantastic Chow Yun-fat movie.
Yeah, you gotta watch his pre-American stuff. It's awesome. But yeah, like there was another thing that I wanted to bring up. You brought up the FBI agent and his constant stance. It's like, and this is why like you don't like everybody. Like everybody in this movie is like not 100% likable because even Wallace, even Wallace, as good-hearted as he is, he has his hidden agenda. So it's like, man, kind of like throwing me under the bus here, you know. But that FBI agent comes off as a complete scumbag. And you know what? In almost every movie I watch, that's almost how an FBI agent acts. Damn near scumbagish, being antagonistic. Like I remember when we talked, when we were talking True Romance, and they were in there. They were being so fucking hard ass to what today. I was like, come on, man. And Tom Sizemore also in the movie with Point Break.
There's another one. Yeah,
he was undercover FBI agent. Yeah, he giving Keanu Reeves a hard ass time. I'm like, bro, how the fuck they supposed to know that there's an undercover FBI agent? Y'all undercover. I'm undercover. And yet y'all giving us a hard time. Ain't nobody knows the whole information. So I always feel like FBI agents in almost every movie have the same personality trait.
The only good FBI are the full-blooded Italians with Nunzio. ECW, baby.
Fuck the WWE version. It's always ECW.
Yeah, it always. But you know, like I said in the pre-show, by watching new wrestling today, it's like, what year is this? The Latino World Order? Like,
LW.
What the crap?
Now, what do you think of the two Asian police officers giving Wallace a hard time? Because I liked that whole beginning portion.
Actually, I really like it because it, there's some stuff that feels, sometimes stuff feels like bullying or hazing, but this generally just felt like breaking balls.
Yeah.
Yeah, because they're going to check out the new guy, and this is like also the established stuff. I especially love his wonderful monologue about Asian dicks.
That's the most memorable one. And I'm like, why?
Hey, Model One.
Biggie. What's going on, man? Yeah, that whole sequence was hilarious with how they was kind of like hazing him and telling him all this shit. And it was like both of them was doing it, man. It was entertaining, but at the same time, it was probably learning, like trying to get a feel for him. Randy Quaid.
I haven't seen Parents, but I know when Randy Quaid, isn't it?
Uncle Eddie.
But yeah, like you can see from the quote, like the reference to the quote that we have both chosen, absolutely without without cahooting on this one is where I absolutely love when Sean's father, when Nick told Danny, if you want to be Chinese, you have to eat you have to eat the gross stuff.
Hey man, you gotta fit in. If you want to fit in, you gotta eat what we eat.
Yeah, I think Sean Fat also was very happy to be able to play such a multifaceted character in a US movie, because let's face it, I think his expectations after the Replacement Killer were probably pretty low of what's in there in Hollywood.
Yeah, it's like I feel like this is the best of what we got from him.
Yeah,
Like,
I mean, of course, yeah, you have Flying Tiger, Hidden Dragon, but I still don't see this as a fully American movie,
No.
since like it's really like a Chinese production, and of course, like in a completely other genre, like Anna and the King. But I don't think Anna and the King is the first thing come to mind when people think Xiao Yun Fat. Oh, nice. Well. He like his minuscule role in the Pirates of the Caribbean.
Don't even get me started with that bullshit ass Dragon Ball Z.
just want I just wanted to mention that he was actually the only redeemable part of it.
I don't even think it was that ridiculous. That was.
I just said this movie is way more enjoyable if you're not a Dragon Ball fan.
But like I was saying, the Corruptor is the best American Italian
Yeah.
because it takes the best element from his Hong Kong heroic bloodshed films and just adds it to an American style.
Yeah, that's a police thriller, and it's
And it's lots of act. I mean, the opening scene alone, where he's playing with cards with the old man, and the gang comes in there to try and hassle him, and then just get into a full blown shootout. And the funniest thing about it is he gets into that shootout, he wins it, and then a couple of scenes later, he gets an award. I'm like, man, he just blew up a whole goddamn stop.
Yeah. The fun fact is actually watching this movie. Back in the day, of course, I didn't have the comparison because The Departed, neither the Korean one nor the American one was released. But actually, when I think about if Scorsese would have directed that one, that would also have been a treasure, because there are a lot of similarities plot-wise, I think, with The Corruptor and Departed.
Yeah, that's another movie we gotta talk about, because I love the both angle scenes of an undercover cop and both sides.
Yeah.
And this movie really had that, a cop that's actually a low-key agent for the gang, for Uncle Benny, and then a cop that's an agent for the internal affairs.
Yeah.
Wallace. So everybody is playing both sides and trying to get information on each other so they can, slam them for one thing. But then that trust factor. Who do you trust?
Yeah.
And Nick and Wallace characters, while they start out at odds, they slowly build trust. They both save each other in certain situations.
And the good thing is,
even at the end, it's like, do I really want to do this? Do I want to kill him because he's internal affairs and stuff? They question themselves.
That's what I totally appreciate about this movie, because it starts with a lot of mistrust, and then they gain trust. But then there are new stuff is coming up where there's mistrust sown again, but the trust they built before is still upholding. But yes, as audience, you really think it's like, hey, but like, will they? Won't they? It's very interesting. It's not an easy movie to foresee, and that adds a lot to the tension in a positive way.
It does, and it's so engrossing when you watch it, because you want to see how this wraps up. And I just love how the misdirect that they throw you on certain things. The scene where they encounter each other, when Lee told them, "Hey, there's a thing happening at this shop. I want you to take him out." Literally setting up Nick's death.
Yeah.
And then when they find out each other, and they're like, "Oh, what's going on here?" And they start to talk and hash it out. you would think that would lead to complete mistrust.
Yeah,
but
absolutely. And what I love about this so much is also that every resolution it feels really earned, and also by Danny and Nick are working through it. That Henry Lee doesn't seem like an idiot, you know. The things that bring on his downfall are things that he couldn't have predicted. But everything he could have predicted, he was always like on top. So the end is really nice when he says like, "You have nothing against me."
And that's how slick Lee was, because he tried to play them against each other. He set up Wallace to go take out Nick, and then once that didn't work, he calls up Nick and say, "You know Wallace's internal affairs, right?" So he's trying to get Nick to kill Wallace. So it's like, yo, this dude trying to get them to cancel each other out so they don't be a problem.
And it does it very well, and this is so enjoyable. And you see this so rarely in a movie that a villain is truly fantastically scheming, and this also brings so much more satisfaction to the ending, because it feels so deserved that they overcame like this really fantastic villain.
And I like the fact that they had to get some evidence.
Yes.
And Nick had an informant who was a gang member.
Hey, Kenneth.
Who was a gang member of, what up, Kenneth? He was a gang member with Bobby Boo, but he also had a side chick who was an immigrant, you know, who could get deported back. So Nick uses that as an advantage to get him to say, "You're going to be my informant. You're going to record this." And he said, the scene that I like and it really like showed like, damn, this could be a scary situation, is when he tried to call Nick, and then Bobby Boo came up with Nick, like, "Who you calling?" And then he like, "Did you order Chinese?"
Yeah, actually, I really like that Sherman Fat made like an American accent. It's like, "Is this Domino's Pizza?" That was really fantastic. Yeah, it's so rare to watch like an action thriller that is not insulting the intelligence of the viewer.
Yes, like the movie makes it. You don't lose focus. It doesn't try and go over your head and be overly complicated. I love that it's straightforward with its twist, and it's not like throwing you bullshit.
Yeah.
And you get to like realize like, oh shit, now these characters are in even deeper shit, and you want to see how they come out of it.
Yeah. And they also really have like not a happy end, but actually like, you have an ending that really wraps up the movie nice, but it's not happy.
It's not happy at all.
It's not happy.
And it's sad, especially when they open up that door and they see all those immigrants.
Yeah.
You know, because you see, like, Lethal Weapon around the year before did the same thing with Jet Li as the villain. Uncle Benny playing again. You know, Uncle Benny got to have these illegal immigrants come over. Yeah. But, like, that was a huge part of what was going on at the time, and still do. Like, these illegal immigrants, and it really, like, added to the validity of how accurate this movie is because of how that played a part in it.
Yeah, it's also the interesting part, because of course one also like which really got the focus of the police. It's not that not with any of the Chinese hookers, but it's like a tourist was killed in Chinatown. We can't have that.
Hey, you know this gonna be dangerous. Don't be messing with them hookers, man. And you know what? I also like the fact that after Nick got his badge and of like celebration and stuff, you instantly see him in his apartment with a hooker that he knows. like cops are not a stranger to hookers.
In German we have this beautiful saying that the blue and red like work hand in hand.
Yeah. Like, I can be celebrating this stuff, but I'm still get some hookers, man.
Yeah. Of course, I mean, in that line of work, you get to know a lot of hookers, so you know what the good ones are.
Yeah, and in his case, one of them almost end up dead or end up dying, because we don't really see her fate outside of knowing that she was in the hospital. But that's another thing I like about Lee. And the sneaky bastard when Wallace fell for those two chicks in the bedroom after Nick left and said, "Oh, they did for his pleasure," I was like, "You should have just walked out, man."
Yeah.
Because they wore his ass out, put him to sleep, and then they went through his things and saw that he had wire.
The wire, yeah. It's really it's like thinking about this movie again. That Henry Lee must be one of the most underappreciated villains in movie history.
Yeah. He could offer you a whole lot, and he could take away a whole lot as well.
Yes.
He could do
such a fantastic villain. So for this alone, the movie's worthwhile watching.
Oh yeah, like you got to have a great villain in the film, and he was the fantastic actor to portray this character. Because, like we said earlier, so charismatic, so cunning, and he can be persuasive as hell. Like he could just offer you these women. He could offer you all these luxuries and stuff like that. But at the same time, he can snatch your life just like that without you knowing.
Exactly, so fantastic, and also like what I mentioned is, it's so rare in Hollywood. It's very common in Hollywood to snatch stars from other countries. When they cross over, but it's so rare to give them really like a proper role and to have it really on par with the shoehorned white character for the common American audience.
Yeah, and that's what makes to me the Corruptor special. Like, it's one of those movies that when it came out, I was excited because not only the hip hop video that was promoting the movie, they did a really great job here in America promoting it through hip hop because we love all the American violence and stuff like that. So he's like, Chow Yun Fat, we know him from Better Tomorrow and Hard Blood, so we definitely gonna see this movie. And I remember going with a bunch of friends to see this film, and they was like, man, this movie was fucking action-packed. I love the chase scene. That chase scene in the car, bro. How he not died?
That one was really, really scary, really well shot. But I've seen it actually on this DVD the first time. Because I don't remember it coming into the cinema, and I was a little bit cautious about, because at that point in 1999 I already was a huge fan of Hong Kong movies, and it's like, how the Americans gonna fuck up this one? And then I watched it, it's like, wow, I'm so surprised by it, because it feels like a genuine Hong Kong action movie.
Yeah, still got Mark Wahlberg in it.
Yeah. Might even be the first Mark Wahlberg movie that I watched.
Yeah, like I know he did like Boogie Nights before this and Fear.
Oh no, the Big Hit was the first one. Yeah, the Big Hit, which also we have to talk in the future. That movie is so underappreciated.
But this film, like we were saying earlier, how like compared to his later roles, he's like tame. And I get it. You're with Chow Yun Fat. Like, he's the big marketable star in this film because he's Hong Kong action. They're trying to promote him more to really push him as that next action star in America, especially, after all his Hong Kong films. So he's the main star of the film. But I thought they played well. They had some good chemistry in it. I was like, man, they could have did another movie together and it would have been big.
And also big shout out to Chow Yun Fat, who is also, I think, the most humble actor in this world.
Yeah, like that man doesn't have an ounce of arrogance in him whatsoever. Yeah. He's 100% humble. He never let the fame got to his head, and he's always, like, from what I've seen, just great with his fans.
Yeah, fantastic human being, and still wish he would be more in movies, but hey, it's he's enjoying his life the humble way.
That's the best way to do it.
Yeah, and he's happy. That's the most important thing. And he's against the communists in China.
Oh, you got to be.
Even though he played in the Chinese movie Confucius, actually a fantastic movie, but he plays Confucius. That was actually one that I wrote a paper about.
Oh, nice.
Where I compared the movie with the Analects of Confucius.
Yeah, that's pretty awesome, man, that you wrote a paper in that.
yeah, I had a few seminars on Chinese history. And he's like, how can I compare like university work and Shoyun Fat movies? I found a way.
That is awesome, man. But yeah, The Corruptor is like one of my favorite films. And like I said, it would have been great had we gotten Chow Yun Fat John Woo reunion during John Woo's run in America. It would have been interesting to see how that would have worked out. You know, like just give John Woo full creative control.
Yeah.
And let Chow Yun Fat do his thing.
Yeah, I'm just happy that Shoyun Fat was not a Mission Impossible 2.
Yeah, Mission Impossible. God, that was the one miss of John Woo.
Yeah.
But fantastic film. Like I feel like we glossed over a couple of things, but the film has a nice pace to it.
Absolutely, I think it's 102 minutes. And,
it has a nice pace to it, and it keeps you intrigued.
Now 106 minutes, and yeah, but it's really nice pacing. Like I said, the only for me the reason the music was not for me, and the camera work. But I know that the director wanted to do something different for this movie because he thought that his style for himself is going a little bit too stale. So he tried it with these handheld cameras, and those were, I think, not always the best choices. But of course, that's also subjective.
Yeah, like the camera work was like a minor issue for me, but I definitely see your point to it. But what I just like the fact that I like the movie had a lot of action to go with the storytelling. It keeps you engaged.
It was really so well balanced between action and storytelling. So you had the action part in it, the thriller part.
And let's talk about the brutality. The fucking store explodes. Homeboy come out the store, survive the explosion in the store. And Homeboy, the gang just roll up on him and just lit him up in broad daylight. Like, God
damn. Also, like in the beginning with Nick's character, when he set the Fukinese up, like in the store, and like he gave him like a point blank headshot. So he
first he put his finger at him to use his hand, and then he put the real gun and blew his head.
No, this is because he had to do this because like as a cop he can't shoot first. So he basically gave him the finger, and then the gangster took out the gun. So then was like, well, now I can shoot you.
And then after that whole shootout, and he lets the one guy go. He looks at the lamp, one of the lamps, and like, I'll buy this, and puts the money on the table. And the old man, stop all fucked up, pull up, and that's not gonna pay for all the damage. it's little comedic moments like that have you like, yo, that's funny.
Absolutely.
But yeah, this movie is awesome, man. I love The Corruptor. I'm glad we was able to talk about this film. Henry Lee was fantastic as the villain. We can't praise him enough. And,
Rick Young's fantastic actor. And yeah, it's like really, it's a movie that not a lot of people talk about, and it's sad. It almost like it got lost a little bit over the almost 25 years when it was released. Fuck that.
It did. Like people really don't like when it comes to Chow Yun Fat's movies. Like The Replacement Killers hurt him, but I feel like this movie was solid enough, but people don't really give it the recognition.
Yeah,
it's the closest we get to that heroic bloodshed John Woo movie. And somebody even mentioned like that opening shootout is the most John Woo thing ever in a non-John Woo movie.
Yeah,
and that's exactly it. It felt like a small portion of Hard Boiled with that opening shootout.
Yeah, it really feels like that the director was incorporating the past of Shoyun Fat's filmography within his own style. So it's like, okay, I respect where you're coming from, and also I know this is what made you the star you are. So I don't want to put you in something completely different. So I really want to go with this. And then he does so well.
Yeah, he did a great job with this film. And like I said, the pacing was great, the acting was great. the twists and turns. It keeps you engaged. Certain movies, like I said earlier, try and go over your head with some explanations, and the story gets convoluted. And I hate when they convolute a story.
Exactly. And here it's
simple, but yet keep the twists and turns to the point where like I gotta stick with this to the end. Because once that goes off the rails, it's like you lost.
It's so rare to have a movie that is intelligent, but also really relatable, and that, like I said, it's like it's not we are intelligent, so we have to over convolute everything. No, it's like, hey, no, this is intelligent plot, and we will really make it accessible.
Hey, Perry.
It is better. It's better.
Hey, Perry, make sure when you react to this movie, make sure you tag both of us so we can watch it. And we sub to you, but sometimes, we be busy and stuff, but tag us both and say, hey, we recommended this.
Yeah, no, Perry has a fantastic strategy. It's like, getting the ideas from the small channels and making the big bucks on his one.
Yeah, man, but I'm glad we able to convince Perry to watch this film.
Yeah, we are the Bill Finger of movie.
I agree with that. Like when it comes to like top 10 Mark Wahlberg films, I gotta put Corruptor in there. It's definitely a movie that I can always watch, and early Mark Wahlberg stuff, great.
Absolutely, highly recommended, and it's such a light. This was a movie in the last years. I was always, I should rewatch it. But then all the time, something came between, and now I'm like, hey, let's talk about this movie. It gives me a reason to rewatch it after 20 fucking years.
Hey man, if we was on the Mark Wahlberg kick, we talked Pain and Gain, and we did movie night, the one with Will Ferrell, the other guy,
the other guy,
and I was like, well, let's talk Corruptor. Like, let's do it.
So in the we should also talk the big hit soon, because this I think is my favorite Mark Wahlberg movie.
Yep, we'll definitely try and touch on that before the year goes out.
But next week we are gonna have an interesting double feature.
Yes. Next week, we are going to celebrate the greatness of Isaac Hayes. A great singer, great music composer, and I would dare say, pretty solid actor.
And one hell of a Duke.
The Duke of New York. number one. So yes, next week, we're going to do two movies that were both released in 1974. And the movie that I heard of, but I never watched it, and that's Three Tough Guys with Isaac Hayes and Fred the Hammer Williams. Now you know how big Hammer fans that we are. And we ain't talking about
love the Hammer.
We talking Fred the Hammer Williams. So to see him and Isaac Hayes in the movie together, it's like, wow, I can't wait to check this out. And then we're also talking one of my favorite films, fucking Truck Turner. Love that movie so much.
I haven't seen any of those two yet, and I can't wait to watch them.
Man, Truck Turner, Yaphet Kotto, Nichelle Nichols. Oh, that movie is classic. If you remember when we talked about you remember when we talked about it on the Comic Call cruise.
Yeah.
Classic. So looking forward to next week and talking those two films. But before we get to that, I was at the Tampa Bay Comic-Con last week. The show was okay. I mainly went to meet Brown Sugar Outlaw, who I've known on IG for years. But I got a Savage Horn.
Show us this savagery.
41 Conan books for $1. I'm gonna put the little light on so we can get a good look. I am close to finishing my King Conan run.
Nice.
It's number 6. Number 7.
King Conan is so underrated, the whole run.
Number 12. And mind you, Brian was digging through the bench, and he's like, "Hey, there's a lot of Conan in here." And he's like, "Hey, pull him out, man. Let me see him."
Pull out the big C.
Pull out the going number 18, 28.
I still think it's so silly why they changed the title to Conan the King.
30.
It's
weird. But
yeah, they changed it because they wanted to show up early in the monthly salutations.
Yeah,
so they wanted to have Conan first and the King later.
This badass, I love this badass cover right here, man.
Yeah.
Awesome. 35.
Oh, that's a nice one. I love this cover.
38.
Oh. Yeah, the King Conan run was actually one of the first runs that I completed. Since luckily those were very easily to get and very cheap.
And then number 40.
Nice.
Then, man, they had a heap of Dark Horse Conan.
Oh, nice.
This is all Dark Horse right here.
Yeah.
It's over there.
I still have to get a lot of the single issues on Dark Horse since I have I have a few versions of the collected edition.
Number 5.
But yeah, this was also back in the day when Linsner still did fantastic covers with backgrounds.
6.
Perry went from gaming to comics.
He could switch like that, man. When I'm showing comics, then he goes to comics. Yeah, this cover's badass here, man.
It's always like the comics in Perry Comics is like an anachronism.
Now this cover was weird as fuck, and it makes me like I need to read this to get the context of why this cover exists. But this one right here, like,
oh yeah, that's Born on the Battlefield. That's basically because Conan was like born on the battlefield. That is like his birth.
This is the gnarly cover there, man.
Yeah, it is.
Born on the battlefield.
This is actually a tougher cover to find.
Really?
Yeah, it's like usually when I see on the website when they have the Conan run, this is actually one that is missing a lot of times.
Oh wow! So I got it for $1. Yeah, like,
yeah, $1 is a good deal for that one.
This cover, man, we was like, oh man. And you know what's funny? Jeff and them, like some of the covers are like he ain't got his helmet, and then the other covers he got his helmet on, and like he needs the helmet for this one because he about to get his head down on. 16.
Nice.
17. Bro, the fact that they had all these, it's like, wow, man.
And the Dark Horse run, when people ask me what is my favorite Conan run to read, it's the Dark Horse run. That one it's so close to Robert E. Howard's books, and they did it such a fantastic job to really portray like the journey of Conan in a.
Got my favorite writer and Kurt Busiek on there, so
yeah, Kurt Busiek was a really fantastic writer on Conan.
Yeah.
Also one of these personalities that you don't need to follow on social media, but he's one heck of a writer. Actually, I also recommend, if somebody wants to read everything on one, Marvel did a really good reprint on Conan by Busiek. So that is actually like it's a really good one to get the whole Busiek run in one.
Yeah, just to snatch up all these for $1, like steal. This was all the books I brought at Tampa Bay.
Yeah, that's a big axe. You got that.
Yeah. I can imagine the underswing right there in that horse's belly.
There's a poor horse.
25.
Yeah. After that X-Wing, this horse won't start in a Black Emanuel movie. If anybody gets this movie reference.
And here he is, getting the crown.
Yeah.
Side. Number 28.
Yeah, I absolutely love this cover. This cover is so. You know, this is such a perfect tribute to Robert E. Howard. This cover.
It's Mike Mignola.
Yeah.
This is full-fledged Mike Mignola here.
Yeah. Also, Mike Mignola did a cover for the new Conan issue #1. Hopefully, they will arrive next week at my comic store before the new order goes out. So I hope to get a new book next week.
I'll be picking that up tomorrow. Get my new comics along with Fire and Ice, and of course, I know you see Jeff posting.
Yeah,
we'll be talking about it on Sunday.
I think Red Sonja #1, Conan #1, and Fire and Ice #1. There's like it's half of my pull list. I ordered so many fucking variants. Oh, these fucking foils.
I'm not even trying to fall. I'm like, fuck. I might get most of the some of the variants for Fire and Ice, but I'm trying to avoid buying so many of them.
Yeah, but I already pre-ordered the Sarah Frazetta cover for her upcoming Vampirella.
Yeah, I already told myself I'll get most of those covers because they dope.
Yeah. Oh, that cover is also so beautiful.
Yeah, love the floating heads.
Yeah, this Conan run was actually one of the books that got me back into comics. When I was traveling every day with the train to university, and it's like I need something to read on the train. Hey, I loved comics in the past, so let's see what they're doing now. And they're like, oh, this new interpretation of Conan looks nice. So this totally got me back into comics.
Sumerian. Like I said, these covers are badass, man. Yeah, this one is just ultra badass.
Yeah.
And the last one, number 24.
Yeah, Iron Shadows in the Moon is such a fantastic Robert E. Howard story that has been adapted so well over the years in many formats. It's for being a fan of such a niche character, and Conan is still very much niche. It's been a delight to witness so many good adaptations over the decades.
Yeah, man, that massive Conan haul right there, man. But that's all I needed. Now, those two books that I sent you pictures of,
yeah,
they will be purchased. Jeff got them on hold at his shop, so those are gonna be coming to you soon. And yeah, it was a fun weekend, man. Like I had a great time. Check out the video if you haven't. And plus, I upload that We Love Comics store on my YouTube as well. But did you get anything recently over the last 2 weeks?
Actually, not. I'm waiting for my order, which should hopefully arrive next week or the week after. Depends always on the post. I think the only did I get anything? Nah. I had some Cerebus stuff here, but I think that one I'll put already in the boxes. I got rid of a lot of comics.
Nice.
Yeah, I went through the old drop boxes and everything where I'm like, everything that is not Conan, Red Sonja, or anything Savage or Vampirella, was like, hey, do I still read this? Will I not read this? And then I donated a lot of books to a free bookshelf where people can just pick out stuff. Yeah, since as you can see in the back, I need to make space.
Gotta make space for all those variants, man.
Yeah, for all those fucking new variants, and I think that's like a problem you see a lot of people have on YouTube, like in the recent 3 weeks and months, where I'm like, hey, actually, I'm running out of space.
Yeah, I was like, man, do I need another short and long box? Man, I ain't even got space for it.
And then the thing is, I also have a big movie collector, so I also have to get through that again, and also hey, it's like, what I'm gonna watch and what I'm not gonna watch in the future.
Yeah, that's the life of a collector.
That's the life of a collector. And I'm also still one of the suckers that still buy CDs and tapes.
Oh my god. You ain't the only one, man.
Yeah.
Quick update. No Comic Hall crew tomorrow. We was gonna do one, but Matt's work schedule kind of permits that, so we'll update everybody on the Comic Hall crew page on when we're gonna do our anniversary stream.
Yeah, which is always good for Matt because he's like a kick-ass photograph, and it's always good that he gets like new chances to show it. Yeah, it's always like that. And at one point, it's like, hey, do I need to buy a new table or should just put a few comic books together and you incorporate them somehow in the living arrangement?
Yeah.
But
yeah.
as soon as I mention something like that, my girlfriend is like, you know when you're getting the look where I'm like, I hope you're not serious.
Yeah, you definitely gotta give them that. Nah, I'm serious, y'all. I'm serious.
You know, it's like, why do we need a bed? I can just put like a few short boxes.
Yep. Hey, you put a couple of short long boxes together and then put the pillow at the end.
The next thing you know, I have to move in this short boxes.
Hey, them short boxes are good workout material, man.
Yeah, absolutely. Those like lifting those is really nice. Like I save a lot of money on the higher dumbbells.
But yep, that's pretty much it. Make sure y'all tune in to the Cantonese Comic Kid on Sunday where we will review Fire and Ice #1. I'm gonna rewatch the movie and then I'm gonna read the comic. So nice. I'm looking forward to that. And next week we're gonna talk Truck Turner. We're gonna talk Three Tough Guys, movies with T's, and Isaac Hayes. So that's gonna be fun.
Awesome. I'm looking so much forward to it.
And of course, next weekend it's Steve Whiting's birthday weekend, so we'll be getting together again.
Yeah, the birthday of the AOK King.
AOK King. So thanks everybody for tuning in. Shout out to Perry and both of his channels, Perry Comics.
If you haven't checked out Perry's channel, check it out. He's one hell of a guy, and one hell of a guy, and one hell of a late bloomer regarding movies.
Super late bloomer.
Super late bloomer.
Shout out to Kenneth, Biggie Shaq. Thanks for stopping by. We didn't have a lot, but that's all right.
Yeah, it's the quality that matters, and we have the best chat out there.
And I gotta give a plug. I haven't plugged her in a week, but Retro Nerd Girl, she is actually doing a live stream talking about fixing the Terminator franchise, which is that's a lot of work. With the live chat she has and the multiple of opinions, I guarantee you, I go over there right now and I'm going to see some interesting opinions.
I still have a very easy solution for fixing it. Make a fucking animated movie of RoboCop versus the Terminator.
And go right on over there and put that in the chat right there.
Yeah.
RoboCop versus Terminator. Still one of the best adaptations there.
Exactly.
Peace out, y'all. Have a great weekend. We'll see you next week.
And the Savage One.